It was the first Monday of December. Barbara Henderson, a 52-year-old mother of three from Cedar Springs, settled into her favorite armchair, the one with the permanent dent shaped like her, with a well-earned cup of tea. The Christmas chaos was, for a blessed moment, at bay. The kids were grown, but the gifts list wasn't. Her husband, Ron, was already snoring through a football game. Armed with her laptop, her reading glasses perched on her nose, and the determined optimism of someone who believed she could outsmart the entire holiday industrial complex, she began her sacred annual ritual, the online hunt for the perfect gift. A quest that, in the old days, involved mall parking lots and elbows. Now it just required a strong Wi-Fi password and a willingness to ignore how many times Facebook knew she'd looked at that food processor. A few clicks in, past the ads for weight loss gummies and the oddly specific algorithmic suggestion for orthopedic slippers, an ad shimmered into view, like a digital mirage. Kringle's Cove, your nostalgic Christmas wonderland. 70% off everything. Final holiday clearance. 70% off? That's not a sale. That's a cry for help. Or a minor financial miracle. I had to investigate. And investigate she did. The site was a vision of a perfect, bygone Christmas, seemingly built by someone who'd watched too many Norman Rockwell specials. It wasn't slick, it was cozy. Wool sweaters with reindeer patterns that looked like something your kind but slightly musty Uncle Ted would wear for 20 years straight. A gleaming porcelain train set straight out of a 1947 Sears catalog. A leather bomber jacket that screamed, 1985 dad at the company party, ready to spritz you with obsession for men. It was all strangely, comfortingly dated. And the prices, let's just say they made the Black Friday doorbusters she'd wrestled over at Kohl's look like an international incident. The shearling slippers were $19.99. $19.99. I practically heard angels singing. Or maybe that was just a tinnitus. Barbara wasn't alone. Across the country, in homes smelling of pine-scented candles and mild desperation, others were falling down the same rabbit hole. Dave in Ohio, a 58-year-old vinyl enthusiast, felt his heart skip a beat. There it was. The exact model of vintage Technics turntable he'd coveted in college, now priced lower than a single tank of premium gas. He didn't just add it to cart, he announced it to his wife. Dave, VO, honey, you won't believe the deal I found. She gave me that look, the one that says, is this about to join the bread maker and the garage museum of abandoned hobbies? But this was different. This was destiny. Linda in Florida, 63 and a grandmother of 5, filled her digital cart with heirloom quality sterling silver charm bracelets. For the girls, she thought, they'd last a lifetime. The total was so reasonable, she threw in a handcrafted music box for herself. They all shared a giddy, secret thrill. They'd outsmarted the system. They'd found the Christmas motherlode, a digital land of milk, honey, and unbelievable markdowns. The checkout was suspiciously smooth. No confusing errors. The secure checkout lock was there, glowing green. They accepted all major cards and PayPal. A small, sensible voice, the one that also reminds you to check your oil, might have wondered why a site with such heirloom items used stock photos that looked a tiny bit fuzzy. But that voice was drowned out by the triumphant chorus of order confirmed and the promise of free shipping. The waiting began. The initial confirmation email arrived instantly. A shipping notice followed within 24 hours, complete with a tracking number. Wow, they're efficient, thought Dave, imagining his turntable being lovingly packed by a team of elves in cardigans. But then, the tracking numbers entered what experts call the Bermuda Triangle of logistics. Dave's prize turntable spent a week in label-created USPS awaiting item purgatory. Then it magically jumped to in transit from a warehouse in Newark, Delaware. 2 days later, it was processed through regional facility in Cheyenne, Wyoming. The day after that, it was back in Newark. I started tracking it like it was a spy satellite. I'd explain the route to my wife. See, honey, it's taking the scenic route, probably seeing the Rockies. She just asked if I'd called our actual sun lately. Barbara's slippers played a similar game. They were out for delivery in Cedar Springs for 3 consecutive days. Barbara took to sitting by the front window with the intensity of a neighborhood watch captain. I saw the mailman, the UPS guy, the FedEx lady, the kid delivering flyers for a new pizza place. I waved at all of them. My slippers waved back from the package delayed weather notification on my screen. It was 45 degrees and sunny. Then the first cracks truly appeared. Linda tried to email Kringle's Cove's customer delight team to ask about the music box. The email bounced back. Address not found. Weird. She clicked the live chat button. A cheerful bubble popped up. Hi, I'm Noelle, your holiday helper. How can I... And then nothing. No cursor. Noelle was a ghost. The phone number, which had once played a chipper, endless loop of Jingle Bell Rock, now returned a robotic, "This number is no longer in service." Panic, that familiar holiday guest alongside fruitcake, began to knock. And then, one frosty Tuesday morning, Barbara went to check her order status one more time, hoping for a miracle, and found nothing. Just her browser, blank and cold. This site can't be reached. KringlesCove.com took too long to respond. Kringle's Cove had vanished. Poof! Like the ghost of Christmas scams past, taking with it the money, the hope, and the imaginary shearling slippers of thousands. Welcome to the holiday heist of the digital age. Not a vault of diamonds under armed guard, but a warehouse of dreams, built in the cloud and paid for with good faith and credit card points. This is the story of the Too Good to Be True Christmas sale, the elaborate 10-layer digital fiction that made it look as legit as your grandmother's fruitcake recipe, and the one gloriously dumb human mistake these Grinches made that finally left a trail of digital breadcrumbs right to a dumpster behind a strip mall. Let's rewind and break down this festive fortress of lies. The security here wasn't magnetic alarms or laser grids. It was psychological, built to exploit the specific vulnerabilities of anyone who remembers getting excited about the Sears wish book. Layer 1, the nostalgia bomb. The site didn't use modern minimalist design. It used the digital equivalent of a cluttered, warm living room. Comic Sans? No, but close. Papyrus? Possibly in the About Us section. The color scheme was Grandma's Afghans. It bypassed skepticism and went straight to sentimentality. Layer 2, the badge blizzard. They had every trust symbol a cautious, experienced online shopper looks for. The HTTPS lock, the Norton secured seal, which you couldn't click, the as seen on logos of fake media outlets like the Morning Hearth or Digital Cozy Living magazine. For us, these are the digital version of a firm handshake. They just forged the hand. Layer 3, the social proof puppet show. The reviews were a masterpiece of generic joy. Best purchase ever, Carol D. Exactly as pictured, Michael R. All 5 stars, all posted within a 48-hour period in late November. No pictures, no specifics, just a chorus of happy bots and fabricated carols. Layer 4, the pressure cooker countdown. Only 2 left at this price. Sale ends in 005958. This tapped directly into the same panic that made us fight for Cabbage Patch Kids in '83. It switched off the rational, let me research this brain and activated the gotta catch the deal lizard brain. Layer 5, the payment illusion. They took credit cards via a shady but functional third-party processor, often set up with stolen merchant IDs. They accepted PayPal, but only if you selected friends and family, voiding all buyer protection. A red flag the size of Santa's sleigh, but hidden in the fine print during the final frantic click. And so it went. Dozens of small, clever deceptions stacked like festive, poisonous cookies. Yet none of the usual alarms went off. Your credit card company didn't flag it. It was a small, plausible holiday purchase. Your browser didn't throw a major warning. The whole operation was designed to fly just under the radar of both human suspicion and automated security. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in holiday cash evaporated. They called it the seasonal swindle in the sparse police reports. For the victims, it was just humiliation and anger. Dave, VO. I felt like a chump, not just about the money, but because I'd already told the guys in my vinyl club about the incredible score I'd found. Now I had to tell them I'd been outsmarted by a website that probably had a gif of a Yule log on the homepage. The authorities were baffled in a very specific, modern way. The domain was a dead end. The money was funneled through cryptocurrency tumblers. The digital paper trail vanished like mist. It was the perfect, frustrating, hair-pulling mystery of the modern age. A crime scene with no fingerprints, no fibers, just pixels and regret. And it would have stayed that way. Another cold case in the cyber files. If only the thieves hadn't made one critical, stupid, beautifully human mistake just days after pulling the plug. They got complacent. They'd pulled off the digital crime of the season. And what does a successful, anonymous grifter do with his ill-gotten crypto gains? He converts it to cold, hard cash and goes shopping, but not carefully. One of them, let's call him Steve, got lazy. Instead of using a new, clean drop address, he used one of the same fake shipping addresses they'd used as a placeholder for some of the Kringle's Cove orders, a vacant unit in a nondescript commercial plaza. He ordered a brand new, top-of-the-line 86-inch 4K TV and a gaming console and a set of very expensive noise-canceling headphones, all from different major retailers, all to be delivered to this empty unit he planned to raid. But here's the thing about giant TVs. They require a signature, and when the delivery driver showed up to the vacant, locked unit, he did his job. He called his dispatcher. The dispatcher contacted the retailer. The retailer, seeing a high-value item failing delivery, flagged the address. Meanwhile, a sharp-eyed fraud investigator at one of the credit card bureaus, who'd been tracking a spike in complaints about Kringle's Cove, was running links between names, addresses, and financial trails. The dummy address from the victim reports popped up again, linked to a fresh batch of luxury electronics purchases from a different name. It was the digital equivalent of robbing a bank and then using the stolen money to buy a gold-plated skateboard and having it delivered to the bank's front steps. The police staked out the vacant unit. They didn't catch Steve, but they caught his accomplice trying to pick up the packages. And from there, the digital dominoes began to fall. The server logs, the cryptocurrency wallets, the network of fake sites. Once they had a real person to attach it to, the whole flimsy, festive edifice collapsed. Barbara, VO. When the detective called to say they'd made an arrest and I might get some money back, I almost cried, not just because of the cash, but because it meant we weren't all just naive old fools. It meant the system, clunky as it is, sometimes works. In the end, the holiday heist was foiled not by a high-tech algorithm, but by a low-tech mistake, hubris, and a desire for a really big TV. A tale as old as time, or at least as old as the first person who ever bought a bridge in Brooklyn. So, this season, as you hunt for deals from the comfort of your own dented armchair, remember the legend of Kringle's Cove. If it seems too good to be true, it's probably a website built by a Steve in a basement somewhere. Use a credit card, never friends and family, and trust the voice that sounds like your Aunt Phyllis, the one that says, "That's a lovely sweater, dear, but since when does genuine cashmere cost less than a soup subscription?" Stay cozy, stay skeptical, and may all your deliveries be trackable.